Big Gumble here, and today I'm grumbling about the newest flamboyant MMORPG, Black Desert Online. The foreign exchange student from the Far East cost 30 bucks, so I figured I'd run you through the game with everything I know so that you know whether or not it's worth swiping your mom's credit card for. Well, anyway, let's begin. So I didn't take a video customizing my character, but for the quick rundown, BDO is a game with a ton of depth within a fixed archetype. So what that means is you can't make a tamer that looks like a sorceress or a sorceress that looks like a tamer. You're confined to that framework of each class. Within it though, you can customize it to your heart's desire. You can make a nose that reaches for heaven, or you can make thighs that look like they're gonna explode, but you can't. There is no basic avatar that you're moving away from your sliders. You can Frankenstein a monster right out of a sci-fi B film, or you can make a Victoria's Secret model, so you're not limited that way. And for people who like to customize, classes are gender locked, if you didn't already know, which is a turnoff for some people, but as long as I get to express my inner lesbian by playing a female character, I'm happy. The only class that isn't gender locked, kind of weird, is the Witch and Wizard, which have two different names and two different slots, character slots on the screen, but they're the same class. Okay, so no matter what class I played, combat is this cinematic feast where each hit has gusto. You feel it in your bones. Eat it, Tiesto. You chain moves using combinations of the mouse and keyboard, such as S, left click, Q, shift, F, shift, right click, the list goes on. And you can make combos up on the fly. There's no rotations that unlock certain moves. So you end up with this clicking, clacking cacophony, and if your friends aren't using push to talk on Discord, you're gonna tell them to stew food pretty quick. But the thing is, combat ain't perfect. See, now, I'm all for slaughtering weasels and foxes to make hippies cry, but for the levels I played, which is 1 in 20, combat is way too easy. You don't have to chain Karate Kid combos, you can just hold left click and dodge, because the AI never graduated preschool. But not that I mind. I had a blast dancing around enemies and planting arrows between their eyes in style. Because Black Desert isn't a game about challenging AI. It's a game about grouping as many enemies as you can together and AoEing them into oblivion. And that's gameplay designed for straight up grinding. And that's what this is. You can grind and max out in a matter of less than 24 hours. And those are my roots. I'm okay with that. And I can't recommend Black Desert to anyone who's solely in it for combat, because there's more to the game than just straight up slaughtering the wildlife. So, I'll be honest, I didn't like the game at first. Its mechanics are delivered half-assed between levels 1 and 11 by a spirit that doesn't know when to stop smiling. I struggled to navigate the UI, and I really just felt out of place, but I powered through, and I ended up being impressed. I was impressed by the sense of a living world, something I haven't felt while playing an MMO in a very long time. NPCs drive caravans between villages, annoying children run past my oversized thighs, and towns are bustling with villagers, maybe even too many. I mean, love it or hate it, at a distance, Black Desert presents itself as what I envisioned as a modern MMO when I was a kid. So you can interact with NPCs and have conversations with them. And once you've gained knowledge that NPC is interested in, you can strike up a minigame conversation. You see, as you play, you're constantly getting little pop-ups about new information you've learned, new knowledge you've accumulated in your portable Zanga journal. And once you've found something that interests an NPC, you go to this minigame. And what you do in this minigame is you drag and drop knowledge onto a grid. And if you do it properly and you say a quick prayer to the RNG gods, you may increase your standing with the NPC, unlocking rewards, special items, or additional quests. Now this is a system that can be entirely ignored. You don't need to do it, but it's there, and I thought it was great once I discovered it, because I didn't know about it since the game does a piss-poor job of explaining conversations as well. But this makes me want to explore the world, to learn everything I can and accumulate as much knowledge as I can to maximize my standing with NPCs. But that takes a certain mentality, and it's not going to appeal to everyone, I get that. But I think it's really neat, and I don't think I've really seen anything similar in another MMO. So you accumulate additional quests, but questing sucks for leveling. Most quests don't even reward experience. Instead, you earn contribution points. I'll try to clarify. Every single village, outpost, city, outhouse is a node on the game's map. A node where resources can be collected, items can be crafted, and workers can be sent to slave away at iron ore like it's Siberia. So the starting village is your first activated node. You unlock new nodes by talking to the node management NPC. And when a node is unlocked, near a node you've already unlocked, your starting village, you create a golden link between the two. Now this is the foundation of BDO's independent markets. It allows you to buy low in one village and sell high in another, maximizing profit, because every single region has its own pricing. Or you can hire a worker and send them to collect resources at a node, which are automatically added to your storage logger, which is great for crafting, so you're not out there constantly right-clicking bushes or farming to try and get some resources to craft. This system makes me want to buy my own caravan. It reminds me of EVE Online, when you buy low in one region and sell to another. But I want to become my own eccentric baron, playing the system to maximize my earnings, maybe do some insider trading, and try and crash the economy in good old capitalist fashion. When you finally reach max level, you've built your empire, you've crafted all that could be crafted, and you're just the belle of the ball socializing with the NPCs. You won't be spending time building fire resistance to raid MC. In fact, there's not one instance dungeon in the game world, or raid. Instead, you'll join a guild and you'll wage large-scale warfare with other guilds for control of territory, where you can impose harsh taxes, like any good guild would, and monopolize resources. So I've seen videos of 100 versus 100 warfare. Whether or not that actually happens or will happen, I have no idea. More than likely, I imagine one guild, the biggest guild, will completely decimate anyone that steps on their turf. But I've seen The Godfather, and I'm confident I won't have a problem. So Endgame ends up being grinding mobs for resources to enhance your gear to improve yourself in PvP, because there's very little gear progression in the game. Instead, with whatever gear you have at the end game, you improve it through enhancements, improving its stats, improving your attack, and all that shenanigans. And that's fine by me. I mean, I love to grind. And there's also Arena PvP, which I forgot to mention, which is either 1v1 or 3v3 combat, which is mainly for glory. Open world PvP also exists, but as far as I understand it, there's harsh karma penalties that will likely lead players to make one villain ransacking player caravans and one goody two-shoes main character they join a guild with. Now I have read that there are desync issues on the NA and EU servers, at least during CBT2. Apparently it has to do with the game engine in Korea had the same issues, but it's either largely been rectified over in Korea or it's at least been actively improved. So hopefully those issues don't exist for very long after release. Now I am cool with the whole endgame system. In fact, I like it. A lot of people have been grumbling about the lack of PvE, that Western players don't like not having raids and dungeons and whatnot. I mean, I'm a Western player and I don't mind the PvP. I haven't experienced it, so I can't talk from experience, but from what I've read on paper, it seems pretty great. But it's not, it is a valid reason not to play. And ultimately it reminds me of the War of Imperium in RO, where I would grind cards to improve my gear and then go raid castles and ultimately get killed because my clan wasn't that great. And so we waged large-scale wars for minor gains. So now, of course, I've got to talk Cash Shop. I'm recording this right after CBT2. I still have no idea if the Cash Shop is going to be altered after the vocal ranting regarding the shop. Is the game pay to win? I guess that's the main question. No. At least not in an absolute interpretation of the term. And what pay to win means is a good question too. If there are tiers of pay to win, I will say Black Desert is probably at the very bottom tier. The lowest form of pay to win, with lots of convenience items that can be construed as providing a significant advantage, especially through experience buffs and pets that make looting the Army of the Dead really convenient. Now the main complaint is that with the way the cash shop is set up is that it feels like a slippery slope into a pay-to-win game with lockboxes if it ever goes free to play. Of course, being vigilant and letting Daum know your concerns is always a good way to hopefully prevent the free-to-play death spiral. But the main uproar during CBT2, if you haven't been following, was over cosmetic items, costumes. Very nice costumes, by the way, which I think was part of the uproar, which cost about 32 bucks. I'm not going to go into it now. I'll save that discussion for the podcast if it hasn't already happened, or another video. I will say that I think artificially limiting inventory space, which this game does, is total bullshit, especially in a game I paid for, even if I can earn more slots by questing. What number of slots would I be happy with? Well, I will say at least double what you're given at the beginning of Black Desert. And yes, there are many ways to store items on either your mount, boat, or in your warehouse, but artificially limiting bag space is a scummy tactic employed by the entire genre to motivate microtransactions through annoying players. And I think that it is a tactic that needs to be destroyed. And I'll rant about that in another editorial or video. Do I recommend Black Desert? Yes, if you're a particular kind of player. If you like the Western aesthetic, if you enjoy active combat, if you like playing MMO in-game markets, if you like crafting, basically, if you're the type of player who enjoys experiencing every avenue of an MMORPG, then I can recommend it. If you're the type of person who hones in on one element as a make or break deal, such as say raiding, which doesn't even exist in the game, or crafting, then I can't recommend it. Because it's a game that is best experienced in its totality. But I'm gonna play, and I'm suspiciously optimistic that I will be investing my money's worth into the game. So hopefully this has been helpful. If I've messed anything up, let me know in the comments below, and be sure to check out the game page on MMOs.com. Anyway, peace.